This educational video is presented to you by Linares Insurance Agency.
Okay. Is somebody trying to sell you an annuity? Or do you already have one and you're trying to figure out, is this the right fit for you? Did you get a good one? Or are you thinking of purchasing an annuity? These are the questions we're going to answer right now. Hi, I'm TJ Walker, coming to you from the financial center of the world, New York City. And I'm with Josh Melberg. He's someone who has more than a decade of experience helping people with their retirement income. You may have seen him before on CNBC, Yahoo Finance, and Forbes. His financial education videos have been viewed more than 3 million times, and his special reports have helped retirees get straight answers to all their questions about annuities. So Josh, there's always something new in the financial arena. Wall Street is great at cooking up new products. That's what got us into a lot of financial mess 4 years ago. What's new here that's really going to help our average viewer? If they're saying, what's in it for me, what's your answer?
Well, TJ, is it even possible to get 7 or 8% in an annuity today and keep your money secure and have inflation protection? Well, what these companies have done recently is they've taken the key benefits and features from the 4 different types of annuities and they put them into one, and it's called the hybrid annuity. And it's primarily designed for baby boomers or people looking to retire. To provide safety or security has to be the number 1 priority. Number 2, they're looking for the highest income guarantees. They want to know what worst case scenario, what's the guaranteed minimum income, not a maybe fantasy number. And number 3, they're looking for inflation protection. They want to have the same purchasing power today as they do down the road. So where do you go in today's market if you're looking for security in your life and income just to pay for your basic living expenses? So what these companies did is they took the immediate annuity, it gives a lifetime income as long as you live. They took the fixed annuity, which gives a minimum rate of return it grows by, so you know worst case scenario what the account can grow by. And they took the index annuity, this is your inflation hedge, that allows for you to get the market upside but you don't participate the downsides, and they put them into one.
So walk us through it specifically. Let's say I already bought an annuity, a traditional one, 2 years ago, versus getting one that you're recommending now. What's the difference over the long haul as far as the money I'm going to get to live on?
Well, the old-fashioned annuities would typically do one thing and do one thing well, such as you give a $200,000 deposit, you might get $20,000 for the rest of your life. But you lost control of the money. You couldn't pull it back out. You bought a fixed annuity. You would get 4% for the next 5 years. Well, but that doesn't necessarily mean it gives you 8% income for life either. Or you bought a variable annuity, and those are very known and very expensive fees. I've seen fees anywhere from 2.5% to 8% in fees per year. Very, very expensive.
That's why I've heard that annuities really aren't good for you.
What a lot of people don't understand with variable annuities, they think it's secure, but the money's in the market, and they don't realize their fees can be 4%, 5%, 6% fees per year. And there are benefits, but the benefits are just very expensive for those benefits. There's the 4th type of annuity, the indexed annuity. Those are typically for people looking for security as a number 1 priority with a higher return than the banks are paying. So it's a way to get inflation protection. So instead of just having one, what the hybrid annuity does, it takes the immediate annuity and attaches to the index annuity, which gives you market upside without the downside, and puts it into one. And this is what allows for people to spend with confidence, because they have a worst case scenario of income stream they can't outlive. Now, here's what's important. In income planning, not only is safety a priority and finding the highest income contractual guarantees are important, but tax planning is important. So we have tax planning specialists that are able to take IRAs, 401ks, understand some of these IRS laws and loopholes that can provide a tax-free retirement even if you have an IRA, 401k, or savings. And TJ, there's nothing better than tax-free. So why don't I take the next few minutes and give some examples of how to structure the highest paying annuities with the highest ratings and create tax-free income, and show strategies that less than 200 advisors in the country have access to.
Okay, you've given us the big picture. Now let's paint a specific picture and give some case studies so people can figure out, does this make sense for them?
Well, what are some of the challenges we're having here today? Where do you put your money if you need safety and cash flow in your life? What are our options? We got CDs. Been calling them certificates of disappointments lately because you're only going to get 1%. So the old way of income planning would be never touch the principal, only use the interest. Well, if you have $1 million, you're making 1% interest, you're only going to spend $10,000 a year. That's not living life.
That's a lot of ramen noodles and a lot of Velveeta cheese.
Or your other option is you can risk it. You can put into bond funds or stock funds. And if you watch your $1 million portfolio go to 1.2 and then drop down to 600 and then run back up, there's some years you're going to say, okay, I'll spend 50,000. And then other years I'm only going to spend 10,000. That is not, that's stressful to me. I don't know about you, TJ, but I didn't picture myself looking on my statements online every day, watching CNBC, and I picture myself enjoying it and having predictable, stable income. And that's what's going to give people the freedom. One of the biggest challenges America's having today in their retirement is they do not have a private pension in their life. They're mixing investments and pensions into one, and that doesn't work anymore. We're in a new economy. So if you do not have a private pension in your life, consider it's time to design one. And the terms are some of the best terms we've seen so far today.
So Josh, what are the terms of the hybrid annuity?
Well, TJ, what they did is they took the hybrid annuity, and here are the terms. Number one, it has market upside without the downside. Here's what that means. What that means is if a major index like the S&P 500 or some type of commodities or NASDAQ goes up, you'll capture those gains. The disadvantage, you don't get all the gains. If you want all the gains, you got to be directly in the market. Otherwise, there's no way the financial institution could stay in business if the market crashes hard. Okay?
It sounds too good to be true otherwise.
This is what you call your inflation protection, right? Because this is what allows for you to grow your money without sacrificing security. Number two, very important. It has an income floor. Income floor simply means that your floor can range anywhere from 4% per year as a minimum guaranteed growth rate, worst case scenario, as high as 8% per year. So many times baby boomers, retirees are deciding, when do I turn on Social Security? Do I turn it on at 62? Or do I wait to 66? Or do I wait to age 70?
The longer you wait, the bigger monthly you get.
You got it.
But if you don't live as long, you could lose money that way too.
You're right. So you're kind of betting you're going to live longer. So here's how Social Security works. If you let's say you were going to receive Social Security at 62 and you get a quote from Social Security and they say you're going to receive $1,000 of income for the rest of your life at 62 if you turn it on Social Security at 62. Well, if you wait to 63 before you turn it on, wait an extra year, they're going to say you're going to get $1,080 per month. So what Social Security in a way is kind of saying is that for every year that you wait before you turn on Social Security, your Social Security paycheck will increase by 8%. Now, when it comes to income planning, TJ, and this is one of the things that we do, is there is a method to this madness. There's a way to decide what's the best time to turn on, whether it's 62 or 66, because especially if you're married, we can maximize the benefits of Social Security, which is a free service. So consider this. If you have a $500,000 portfolio, if you turn it on now, you may generate $40,000 a year. But if you wait a few years, because it grows by 8% per year, you could get $60,000 per year. And that's the whole point of this. You don't have to decide now if you want to turn it on. You can turn it on 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 65 years from now. But the longer you wait, the higher the income you can get. Now, there is a cost. We all know there's no free lunch. There is a fee, a low fee of less than 1%, anywhere from 0.4% per year to 0.95% per year. Those are typically the ranges. Now, when you compare against other annuities, such as the variable annuity, you got to be very careful. I've seen fees as low as 2.5% of variable annuities, as high as 8.5% in fees
8.5%
per year.
I mean, it's hard to imagine not losing a lot of money with fees like that.
Well, how are you supposed to make money if your fees are 5% a year and you're taking 5% withdrawals per year, and then your money's in the market doing this? It's not a very good formula, and the fees don't show on the statement, and a lot of people don't realize they're paying that much in fees. So that's why it's so important. Even if you do have a variable annuity, you need to do a variable annuity analysis, and there's 42-point questionnaires that we always ask about that specific account to see if it can be optimized. Even if you need to keep it, sometimes it makes sense to keep it because you're so underwater. Other times it makes sense to not keep it because the fees are eroding the account alive. Hybrid annuities are known for its low fees. There's no free lunch. Number 4, very important. The whole reason why people do this, money for life. Money for life means it doesn't matter if you live to be 92 or 96, regardless if this account grows. Hopefully your account grows and your income increases. But let's say the market goes down, 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 down for the next 10 years, 15 years. Even if you're pulling out $60,000 per year and this goes to zero, the financial institution, the insurance company, will continue to give you that cash flow for life, regardless if there's money in there or not. Now, if it does grow and you get that $60,000 a year, a lot of times these accounts can roll over to the spouse so the spouse can continue the plan. Or if there's any money left, what's left goes to the heirs, the company doesn't keep it. And this is what creates baby boomers and retirees to spend with confidence. Because if you don't have a guarantee that there's a predictable, steady stream of income for the rest of your life, you're going to be like this every time the market goes like this. Or you're not going to spend with confidence because you don't know when the next rainy day is going to happen.
Sure, you could be age 60, have $3 million in the bank, think, wow, I can just spend $100,000 a year. I'm not going to live much past 90.
That's right. You just mentioned a very, very important thing. A lot of people in the 60s and 70s, well, they're worried about increased costs. They're worried about medical costs getting more expensive. And maybe they're worried about long-term care, but their long-term care insurance is so expensive. So most people today, TJ, want to stay in their home as long as possible. They want to be cared for as long as possible. But those medical expenses could skyrocket. There's a lot of accounts that are available in most of the states nationwide that will double the income. So imagine getting $40,000 a year. Instead of getting $40,000, you're getting $80,000 a year for life, for home health care, or for long-term care at no additional cost, and you don't have to be insurable. Now, some accounts don't have that at all. So it depends. You want to make sure the benefits and the features that are important to you, you customize the right account. There's no such thing as one size fits all, because out of the 20 different companies that offer these, any company could have anywhere from 5 accounts as many to 20 accounts. And then not only do they have to be structured, so that's why when you get quotes, you want to make sure you can compare the differences of each, apples for apples. And number 5, what I consider to be very important, you do not lose control of the money. You have control of the asset. And here's what I mean by that. We don't know what's going to happen 5 years, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. There's a lot of things that are happening. Greece, Europe, where our national deficit keeps going up. We need to have an exit strategy. That is part of the important things. Whenever you buy a house as your primary residence, if I plan to live there for the next 30 years, I'm not going to buy a 3-year ARM because I want to make sure my expenses are going to be the same. The same thing takes place in retirement income planning. We want to plan for the long term, but we need to have an exit strategy. And what I mean by that is if you want to cash this in 10 years from now, you can. And if you cash it in, you might be able to restructure, refinance. However,
let's face it, control is very important to a lot of senior citizens because many are already facing the issue of losing control over whether they can drive or not, whether they can control their kids or not, whether you can control your eyes. So to be able to control some aspect of your financial future can be even more important.
And here's what's really important about these hybrid annuities. Yes, it's important how strong the rating of the company is and how much surplus capital it is. And find the companies that have the best rates, the lowest fees, and the terms that are right for you. Well, there's so many companies that will give a good rate like this, but if it's managed properly, we can get much higher income. This is the difference of getting $40,000 a year versus $50,000 a year. This is the difference of getting 20, 30, or 40% more income, even if it's the same account somebody else is offering. And what is very important is that the future income down the road is tax-free. Right now, there are little-known IRS strategies that allows for us to take an IRA, 401k, or even non-IRA money and create a tax-free income down the road, which in a way, it's an inflation protection, because if you're at the 25% or 35% tax bracket, having $60,000 a year coming out of an IRA tax-free gives you much more purchasing power in the future. And there's less than 200 financial income planners that have been trained by me that know these management strategies and tax-free strategies in the whole entire country.
Now, why don't other people know about that?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is I've spent a lot of time with actuaries understanding these contracts, finding the loopholes, know what good terms versus not so good terms. I actually help design some of these accounts. At the same time, I spent a lot of time with tax attorneys and JDs, CPAs. So we've actually had to verify these IRA strategies with 4 JD CPAs to make sure that this can work without creating a big tax hit at one time, a ticking tax time bomb. So we've actually done a 2-year training with multiple webinars, multiple meetings across the country with 200 advisors. Now, I've also trained thousands of advisors around the country, and they say, you know, we've worked with Josh.
For more information about the family of Hybrid Index Annuity and how it could benefit you and your family, please contact Linares Insurance Agency at 310-347-3700 or visit us at www.linaresinsurance.com.